I just did a Marco Polo saying, whoever's not on better get on right now.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So we are recording officially. But yeah, Donovan, thank you so much for hopping
For
on with
sure.
us and really starting that Top Achievers group and including all of us in it. And then being so willing to, there's so many people in the group. You're doing one-on-ones, you're doing groups,
Yeah.
you're doing, I mean, you really put so much heart and soul and effort into all of us. And we just really, really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
You know what? Honestly, I'm excited about it. What's that?
I just want to hand it over to you and you can take it away.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm excited. You know what? It's one of those things for me when I became a regional sales manager, I started looking at going, you know, what is it that I really want to drive towards, right? Like what would I love to see if I'm doing this, right, and help people get here, then I know a lot of these other things are taking place. And for me, it was Top Achievers because, you know, as we do move towards top achievers, you're doing things like earning in leadership pools, you're developing your team, you're growing yourself, right? You know, you're becoming a millionaire, you're earning income, all of those types of things. So because there's so many different ways to do it, for me, it just became a huge driver. And I set a goal that, you know, in January, I was like, you know what, next year I want to help 60 people get to top achievers, you know? So that's kind of my personal mission. It's funny because some people are like, yeah, but I'm not in the South. I had somebody email me today. She goes, I'm not in the South. You're not my regional sales manager, but I really like this group. Do you mind if I do a call with you? I'm like, no, I don't care. Like, you know, I'm not about, it's not like stealing other people or, you know, stealing sheep or anything like that. It's just, to me, it's about, you know, one team, we got to help people move forward and get people move in a direction. If I could do a coaching call to help out with that, then that's what I want to do. So.
Oh, we appreciate it.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, I think the big things, guys, that I've been working with everybody on, and I just share with you guys real fast, and then we can do this more if you want to. I'd love to connect with you guys more if you guys want to connect with me individually. It's really figuring out where you are right now, and then figuring out what do you want to do or how do you want to earn top achievers, right? So if you think about top achievers, there's the different tiers that we have. So level 1 earns the invitation, the airfare, the hotel, and the ground transportation. Level 2, I believe, let me pull it up here real fast because I want to make sure I give you the right information. I believe level 2 is you earn the invitation and hotel accommodations, right? So you've got to pay for your airfare and ground transportation, but at least you get the invitation and hotel. And then level 3 is you get the invitation, right? So at level 1, the ways to earn is to be a top income earner. So in the top 10 in the United States. And I'm not, you know, I'll go through some of these things. To me, there are certain ones that it's like, yeah, this is definitely what you need to go for. I would say if you have it in your desire and your heart and passion to be, you know what, I want to be the top 10 income earner in the United States this year, and by all means, go for it, right? But what I would say is whatever your goal is, however you want to earn this thing, be realistic on it. I have been coaching people and working with people that are like, yeah, I want to get 3-star golden circle. I'm like, great. Tell me about your business right now. Well, my achieved rank is director, but I'm really a consultant. I'm not even cycling at all. And I'm like, well, it's not impossible, but you're going to have to do a lot of work to get there. Right. And we talk about what they're going to have to do each day in order to make that happen. So set a realistic goal and then set a stretch goal. Right? If you say, look, this is a realistic goal that I want to go for, that I know that I can achieve, but I'd love to stretch and get here, then set that goal, right? Go for it. Make that happen. We can talk about those things, but figuring out how you want to earn it. So top income earner, you got to be in the top 10, right? Leader in action, you got to be in the top 15. And then A-list platinum, you know, a new A-list platinum member. So build a new platinum, right, business, reentry business. That's for level 1. Level 2, this is where most people that I'm working with right now, this is where I think they're going to end up, is top 16 through 30 in leader in action, right? And I'm going to talk about leader in action tonight because I think it's a great blueprint for you guys. If you're really serious about this business, to me, this is just a no-brainer, and I'll show you how in just a little bit. And then first rank advancements, either it's 3-star golden circle, 4-star golden circle and above, right? 3-star golden circle and above. And that's really where most people that I'm working with right now, that's what they're landing on. And then level 3 is existing A-list platinum members and ISA millionaires, ISAGenix millionaires. Okay. So figure out where you are, where you want to be, right? So if you're in that place and you say, look, I want to be 3-star golden circle. then what you have to do is figure out, okay, look, Golden Circle means executive. What you have to do is you got to hit 3-star Golden Circle recognition rank, right? So I've got to hit Golden Circle. I got to become executive, paid as executive. And I've got to hit 3-star. So that recognition rank 3-star can be a combination of 40 cycles, organic cycles. It can be your PIB equivalents, and it can be your team cycle match, right? You can use that to get the recognition rank. You can't use that to earn it, right? So once you get there and get the recognition rank, that's great. But now what you have to do is you have to hit executive 4 times, right? After you earn the recognition rank, you have to at least be paid as executive 4 times. And you have to hit 3-star organically, which means you've got to do yourself, your business, 40 cycles at least 3 times. Okay, does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So what you don't want to do is set a date of, because this is February 25th. So you got to get there by February 25th. What I don't want to see you do is set a goal of, hey, February 1st, I'm going to hit my recognition rank of 3-star, and then I'm going to do it on February, right? I wouldn't suggest it. Put the date back, right? Shoot for November or shoot for December, right? December is kind of that. To me, it's, if you hit it in December, you hit the recognition rank in December, then you've got January and February to hit the other qualifications to go. Does that make sense? So you're giving yourself a little bit of time. I'd hate to see somebody miss it because one day they were paid as directors, so they missed paid as executive for the week, so they missed the whole thing because of one day. Mm-hmm. You with me? So where are you? How do you want to get there? What do you need to do to get there? So biggest thing that I've been working with everybody on is getting paid as executive, right? So just make that your first thing that you're working towards. Get to paid as executive, and then everything you can do, stay there. Right. And I know, Rachel and I have talked about that a lot. That is so huge, guys. That's going to help you with leadership pools. That's going to help you with holiday bonus pools. It helps you with cycle match. It just helps you with so many different things. If you can get to executive, stay at executive. My suggestion, you've got to have the 5 and 5, keep building, right? Go 7 and 7, 8 and 8, whatever it is, just keep pushing and give yourself plenty of space in there. The nice thing about Isogenics and network marketing is you have freedom and flexibility, right? So if life happens, you get sick, you get viral meningitis, you can take a week off, right? Or whatever. But that's the nice thing about it. The hard thing about it is that it's so flexible, right? So you've got a team and you get just the bare minimum, and then you have somebody on your team and something happens to them, right? Life situation. You don't want to pressure them to work their business, but it's also killing you in the process, right? That's why that buffer is so important, and building your team is so important. So get paid as executive. If you're not quite 2-star yet, right, or not 1-star yet, set a date. When do you want to be 1-star, right? By when do you want to be 2-star? And then say, look, we're going to bring all of those 3 things together. November, 1st, we're going to hit 3-star Golden Circle and make it happen, right? Does that make sense?
Can I ask a question then?
Yeah.
So I want to be real clear. If there's somebody on here that hits 3-star Golden Circle by February, they don't earn the trip, right? Because they've got to do the three consecutive, 3 times.
Yeah, if they hit. Yeah, so let's say, the date is February 25th is when it ends, right? So let's say 4 weeks prior to that, they hit 3-star Golden Circle. They would have to then hit executive, be paid as executive every week of February. And for 3 of those 4 weeks in February, they'd have to hit 3-star organically. So it's not impossible.
Okay, got it.
It's just, it would just be really hard.
I was thinking months in my head. I'm like, months.
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Yep.
Totally doable.
Yeah.
Oh my golly. Okay. I was stressing for a minute.
Yeah. No. Absolutely doable. Yeah. It's just give yourself time, right? Like be realistic, give yourself time to get there and do it. Right.
Got it.
Can you do it if you hit it in January? Absolutely. Can you do it if you hit it in February? Yes. But you're going to really have to hump that last month to make sure that everything lines up for you. Mm-hmm. Right.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah. So a plan, something that you can do to kind of help with this is the leader in action. I'm going to pull this up. I think I can share my screen here. And I'll actually put this in the chat so you guys have it. There's that. All right. So this is, I think if you're, if you're really working and not knowing where everybody is in their business right now, it's a little hard to kind of give some really clear direction. So again, if you want to set some time up with me, I'll put my calendar link over there so you guys can do that. And we can talk about your, where you are specifically. I think this is great for anybody. If you're building, I talked to a lady today, she's just hit Crystal Manager. She's like, what do I do? And I'm like, go to this link. This is what you need to do, right? These are the goals that you need to set for yourself every month. Because if you do this, it's going to help you in every way. So Leader in Action, let me just real fast. Now, you guys can read this later, so I won't read all of it word for word, but it's basically something that we do every month that we check activities, right? And so we score everybody in the company based on those activities. Okay, so every month you are a leader in action, meaning you're taking action with your business. And so there are 4 areas, 4 things that we look at that we check with your score. Okay, and the way, this is basically how you earn it. You can get spotlight recognition for Leader in Action. So if you go there, you'll see who's in Leader in Action this month. I think it's the top 50, maybe. I think they post. I'm not exactly sure how many it is.
50.
Yeah. Recognized at New Year kickoff, top achievers, right? So we just looked at that. So the top 15 are in tier 1, 16 through 30 are in tier 2. The top 8 go to President's Quest. So President's Quest is coming up. I'm just going to huge shout out. We had 2 people from the South region in the top 8 for President's Quest this year. So I'm pretty pumped about that. But here's the formula, guys. And seriously, if you get this, there's so much magic in this formula. If you get this and just say, you know what, I'm going to set a goal. These are going to be my monthly goals, and I'm not going to budge on these goals, right? I'm just not going to do it. You set these goals, these become something, and you'll watch your business, I think, really take off. But then you'll consistently be in Leader in Action. It's going to help you grow, all right? So there's a couple of them on here to me that are really non-negotiable. I'm going to put this up so you guys can read this. So personal cycle growth, I'm going to come back and talk about that one in a second. Personal enrollments. So personal enrollments, you get 1 point for every person you enroll up to 5, right? So the maximum you can get is 5. Now, here's the thing. If you're sitting here saying, you know what, I want to really build my business, what do I need to do? What I'd encourage you to do is set a monthly goal. How many personal enrollments do you want to have? If you're going to have 5, why not go for 6 so that you can do 2 a week and get the double PIBs, right? If you're doing 2 a week, why not go for 8 so that you've got, every week you're just doing 2 enrollments. If you're going to go for 8, why not go for 10 enrollments a month so that you get the packs of complete essentials? You get 2 boxes of complete essentials every month. You with me?
Yes.
So just to say, look, I'm going to do this and I'm going to have 10 enrollments. Now, if you do 10 enrollments every month, that's awesome. You're only going to get 5 points for it, right? When it comes to Leader in Action, but you get the double PIBs and you get the complete essentials. So to me, it just becomes a no-brainer. At minimum, do 5, right? So that you get the points. And I'm going to talk about minimums here in a second and why minimums are so important. But a minimum, do 5, right? But why not stretch it, do 10? Say, you know what, I really want to build my business. I'm going to enroll 10 people every month. Mm-hmm. I'm just going to go for it and set that up, right? That just becomes a goal, something you just drill into your head. This is what I'm going to do. The rank advancement I'm going to talk about in just a bit. The other, to me, non-negotiable is weeks active as executive. Okay. Now I want to make sure everybody's really clear on what active executive means. Somebody said to me today, yeah, I'm an active executive. I said, awesome. How many people do you have? They're like, I've got like 7 consultants. I'm like, you're not active executive, right? You can have a recognition rank of executive and you can be active because you paid your 100, you've got your 100 BV every month, but that doesn't mean that you're active executive. What we mean by active executive is every day of the week, you've closed that day as executive, all right? Which is key. Here's the way to think about it. Recognition rank is the highest rank that you've received in the company. Active rank is the lowest rank that you were for the week. Okay? So let's say today that you close out a day in the week, right? So I'll give you 2 examples here. So we start the week, I'm executive. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, somebody drops off, so I'm a director. Thursday, I come back up, I'm executive. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I close the week out as executive. But that one day I was director, my active rank for that week is director. Okay. Now, if Wednesday somebody drops off, I'm director at noon, but by dinner time I get back to executive because I've got somebody else engaged and I close the day as executive, then I'm executive every day of the week, then I end the week, I'm paid as executive. That makes sense?
I have a question, Donovan.
Yeah, Jennifer.
Okay, so because that's happened to me before. So say something does happen during that one particular business day and you drop from an executive to a director. Do you have till midnight that night to reconcile that, or is it 6 p.m. to reconcile it?
I believe it's 11 p.m. or 11:59 p.m. Eastern, because that's typically when we do it. So yes, midnight.
Okay.
That's typically when we end everything, is at 11:59 point or
Okay.
59 spot. I'll double check that, but I believe that that's accurate.
Okay. And let me ask you this too, because again, this has happened to me and I never caught, like I always look at what, I start out with that first thing in the morning. I always check, like what are the incidences that if you wake up and you're executive, but then by the end of the day, you're not executive? Could it be a product return? Could it be an auto shipment that was supposed to run that day that got declined on a credit card?
Yeah, it could be a lot of those things. Somebody pushes out their auto ship. That's one I hear a lot, is somebody pushes out their auto ship or they're in grace period and they don't, they don't engage. So just there's a lot of different things in there. The big one is a return. So it's just watching any returns that come up. So as much as you can, I'd put it on your calendar to check your, to check your business a couple times a day, especially like right before you go to sleep. Make sure you're in your good spot. If you feel like if there's anything that looks weird or anything that looks odd, I just be careful with it. I had somebody actually that missed a couple $1,000s, I think, in leadership pools because of 3 hours. They went to bed, they were in a good place, got up the next morning, they weren't. They called me up, one day, and they were expecting X in the pools. I called them, told them they got Y. They were not real happy, but they missed it because of that. They went to bed, everything was fine, but somebody dropped out. So.
Don't we have a 5-day grace period when that happens?
There is, and that's what I think is a lot of people aren't checking it consistently, so they're not looking for that, right? There are some certain things in there, and I don't know all the nuances. I'd have to find out some of the nuances in there, but there are some things that it can happen if you're not paying attention to it.
Yeah, I've had people go in grace period when I was like 5 and 8 or something,
right? And
as long as we caught it within that 5-day grace period, it's been fine. But
yeah.
But I learned that the hard way. There was one time since I went executive that I got paid as director, and I'm like, no. I had it all fixed, but one day I didn't. So
yeah.
So you just got to watch those grace periods.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. So when it comes to Leader in Action, it comes to your monthly goals, right? You set your personal enrollments of 5 or 10 or somewhere in between there. Your weeks at executive, it's going to be 4 or 5, right? Depending on what month it is. Just set that as a goal, that this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to make that happen. Cycle growth. So, hopefully you guys understand the leadership pools. If you need some help with that, I actually love coaching people on leadership pools. I called somebody one month and we set up, this is what you need to do. She started working the pools. I called her and I said, hey, this is what you earn. She goes, yeah, I know. I'm like, how did you know? She goes, because you helped me and I was watching it. I knew exactly what I was going to make. I was like, that's awesome. So personal cycle growth. So essentially you earn a point for every cycle you grow over your benchmark. Okay. So what you need to do is find out your benchmark. You find that out in the back office, look under contest promotions, go down to leadership pool, right? To executive leadership pool, pull up your report. You can see your benchmark there. You want to at least grow by 1. Again, we're talking minimums here. You want to grow at least by 1. However, right, you want to try to build this out. You want to max this out. This is an area where you can really take off when it comes to leadership pool, or it comes to Leader in Action. All right, is in the cycle growth. I had 1 month. I was looking at it, just some different reports. 1 month, somebody had like 35, and then a couple months later they had over 100. Right, they had a huge month in their cycle growth, so it became huge for them. But this is an area where you can really play with it. But you want to have at least 1, and I'm going to tell you why here in just a bit. The other area is personal enrollments, right, or rank advancements. You want to develop at least 1 person on your team every month. Okay. Now, here's why I'm saying at least one. Here's how we do this with Leader in Action. And it's kind of wonky. And Rachel, if you want, I'll explain it tonight. It probably won't make a ton of sense. So we can go back through and I can try to show you visually. But basically what happens is this. If you get a 0 in any of those, then we basically give you 1,000 points in Leader in Action for that month. Okay. Anybody, sorry, my dog's decided to start eating right now. Anybody that gets
eating my roses, I'll be right back.
Okay. So what we do is we're looking everybody for the month, right? How did you do in these 4 categories? And we multiply all of those out. That becomes your score. All right. Anybody that's got 1,000 points, we basically move them aside for the month. Okay. And then we stack rank everybody else that's left. Okay. So whoever's got the least points is at the top, or most points at the top, down, 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 down. Right.
Okay. So points. It's not the least, because that's where it's confusing, because you're multiplying, you're trying to get a lot of enrollments. You're trying to you're trying to increase your score.
Right.
1,000 is not good. So they just put the 1,000 aside and they still rank you by highest points to low.
Yes, exactly.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then what we do is at the end of the year, whatever your rank was each month, we add those ranks together. That becomes your rank total for the end of the year.
Okay.
Okay. And so let's say you've got the highest points, right? You didn't get the 1,000 points. You got the highest points in May, highest points in June, whatever. Your rank is number 1. Then maybe in May or June, you got rank 34. July, you got rank 10. Whatever, right? We add all of those ranks up, and then we score it. Whoever's got the lowest points wins. Okay, so it's a little bit confusing, but basically what you don't want is you don't want 1,000 points. The way to get 1,000 points is to get a 0 in any of these categories.
Okay,
so that's what.
Question as far as, okay, so let's say, and we're doing pool months. We're not actually doing like the month of June.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
So let's say it's a 4-week month like it is right now. And let's say one day out of 1 week, you are not executive. So you have a 0 for that week, but then you have executive the other 3 weeks. So does that 0 knock you out and give you 1,000 points? Or
no,
long
it
as
changes.
you have executive one time out of the 4 weeks?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, that number at the end, number of weeks as executive. So you can have a day. It just means for that week, that week won't qualify. Right. So that means instead of 4 weeks, you have 3 weeks right here. So what that would mean is that let's say 4 days out of the month, and it just happened, it was every Wednesday, you dropped out of executive. So you never were paid as executive. That last number would be a 0. That's 1,000 points.
Okay. So as long as you hit it once, you don't get
right.
That. Okay.
Yeah. So that becomes it. And I hate to do this. I have to wrap up quick because I've got another call right here at 7, but 7 Pacific. But that would be what I would say for you guys, right? If you're wanting to build, how do I build? Set your goals each month. I'm going to set a personal cycle growth of at least 1, right? And again, why not go for more? Say I want to grow by 10, right? Whatever it is, but I want to grow my personal cycles because I want to earn in leadership pools. There's a lot of money sitting in the leadership pools that you can earn. Personal enrollments, I'm going to have personal enrollments monthly of either 5 or 10 or somewhere in between, right? Personally sponsored rank advancements, I'm going to at least rank advance 1 person. That's an executive, or excuse me, an associate to consultant. That counts as 1 point, right? Consultant
Donavon,
to manager.
Are you saying a month? 1 rank advancement in a month.
Yep. Okay. Yep. You want to have at least 1, right? Because you don't want 0 there.
Right. Okay.
But the way to think about it is, and I think it says it here with that is the higher the rank, the more points you receive.
Right.
Right. So I can do 1 person. I can work all week to try to get all month to try to get a director to an executive, and they just don't do it. Or I can work on getting 6 associates to consultant, right, and get 6 points. Does that make sense? So not that I don't want to work with people that want to become executive, but don't put so much emphasis on that you're not able to move in the other direction too. At least get 1 person to rank advance so that you get points there. Okay. And then number of weeks as executive, just make sure that that's not 0, right? But why not set it for 4 or 5, whatever the month is. Let me close with this real fast. In the top 30, I think all of them, but maybe 2 or 3 had 1,000-point months. So it's not impossible to have a bad month and still get ranked up there in the top 30.
Okay.
All right. But why not go for it, man? Like, seriously, this to me is a great model. Like, if you just get in the mindset of these 4 areas, this is where I'm going to grow and build my business, man, go for it.
Very exciting. Thank you so much,
Cool.
Donavon. I know you have to go.
You're welcome.
We appreciate it. And I think a lot of us have one-on-one scheduled with you on your calendar as well. So.
Okay, perfect.
All right. Thank you so much,
Donavon.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Hi, Donavon.
Bye.
Coach, are we staying on?
Yeah, we can stay on if you guys have questions.
Yeah.
Okay.
This formula is my favorite. I'm such a nerd when it comes to numbers like this. Like, that whole thing is my favorite.
Well, you know, Dana, it's funny because I am not a numbers person, and I'm like, if I were to like think of this whole thing, my mind is blown and I'm lost because it's so not me.
Yeah.
But when you look at like the formula, there's no question. Personal growth cycle, personal enrollments. I mean, it's like right there.
Right.
So when I look at the simplicity of that, I go, okay, I can do that.
Right.
Yeah.
But all that other stuff, I'm like, woo.
Yeah, so you know what I want you guys. Go ahead, Dana.
Well, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, so if you guys don't know what your benchmark is, make sure you go in your back office and you find out what your benchmark is, okay? Because that's really important because you need to know how many, what your cycle growth needs to be, okay? So write that down. You need to know what the 4 calendar month, when it starts and when it ends. Do y'all know that? Do y'all know when it starts and when it ends? It started on June 26th. Okay, and it ends on July 23rd. So for this period, it is 4 weeks. Okay, so make sure that you have a calendar or some way of tracking that so that you know. And I don't know, can you guys see my board back there? And I took a picture and I put it on our thread. Yeah.
So Rachel, that's this month. And how do we know the dates for next month?
Leader in action.
It's
all okay.
Your pools. So there's a whole calendar in the back office under the pools. It's the pool calendar.
Okay.
Okay, so it tells you exactly, and I'll post that on our thread too so that you guys can have it at your fingertips. And then, why don't you tell them where to go to find out what they've already done since this contest has started in February.
Yeah, I want to add something to that. So here's the thing. Until you are paid as executive, it's not as imperative to know your benchmark yet. Because here's the thing. Until you get to executive, it doesn't matter. None of this formula falls apart unless you're executive. So
are we not earning points if we're not executive?
No, you're not.
You're getting 1,000 and you're thrown out.
Earning 1,000 points, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the way that I look at it, to dumb it down, like sometimes you got to think like I would say 8th grader, but really the way math is now, it's like a 4th grader, right? It's so hard. But you got to look at this formula that he just went through, okay? And we know we don't want to hit 0 in any of that. So you got to make sure that you hit at least 1 in all of that. So when that formula, so focus on that. When that formula is all said and done. So let's just say let's just do a quasi one. Would that help you all to kind of visualize it? So let's say you have 5 enrollments. Let's say you have 4 cycle growth over your benchmark, okay? Let's say that you got paid 3 weeks out of that particular month at executive, okay? So you've got 5 points for your enrollments, 4 points for your cycle growth, 3 points for your being executive every single month, and 1 point, every single week, and 1 point for how many people you promoted to consultant. Let's say only one person consulted. So that's the first part of it. So if you take 5 times 4, that's 20, times 3, that's 60, times 1, it's 60. So your score is 60. Now what they do is they add up all of us. So Rachel's score was 100, mine was 60, Mitzi, yours was 105. You see what I'm saying? Everybody gets that point. Then they take that and they move it over to the ranking. So let's say right now, Trudy Maples is number 1. Okay. So she's number 1. So how many of her points? She probably earned 1,000,000 points. Who knows, right? So then they put us in order of where we're at in that leaders in action. Does that make sense? If you end up, let's say I ended up with 60 points. Okay. But let's say I didn't promote anybody, so really I had a 0 there. So if you go 5 times 4 is 20, times 3 is 60, times 0 is 0. Now they
1,000.
Yep,
No,
now
yeah,
they get 1,000 points, right? So that's really all it is. If you dumb it down, it's just the one formula that we got to make sure that there's no zeros on, and then it puts us in place where we are. And they do put the top, like you will know every month of the whole duration of this contest where you're at, as long as you're in the top 50. So the goal is to be checking in that leadership board, and you can see that. Let me share my screen because I don't know if I'm able to explain that.
But
You
ultimately, for those of us that are not executive, we need to get there.
Well,
You
yeah,
gotta get it.
you'll have a 0 and you'll have 1,000 points, so the rest of it won't even matter. I mean, you want to develop good habits and you want to focus on all of those areas, but
Well, yeah, if you do this,
first and foremost.
yeah, if you do the format, the possibility of going executive is a lot better because it steers in the right direction, but you have to get there. Okay.
Yeah.
If I could chime in, think of when you hit 1,000, think of that not as points. Think of that as you rank 1,000, number 1,000 out of 1 through 1,000. It's like ranking last, right? It's not like you earned 1,000 points. It's like you got bumped down to rank number 1,000.
You got bumped out. Yep, exactly.
You want to be
You were
number
there,
1.
Rebecca.
That's a good way to look at it, Rebecca. Yeah. Okay, so to find where you are, you go into contests and promotions, and you go down to President's Quest right here. This is the only place I know how to find it. Personal Millionaire in Action Report. When you click that, this really sucks, by the way. Here it shows, I'm going to move this. So here it shows, we started this when? March. So March, for me, I have 9 points. Woo-woo, right? April and May have 0 points. June is not reconciled yet. So this is where you're going to know your personal points. Now, if you'll look, you guys, Rachel and I hit top achievers this last, one that we just got back from. If you look at how this happened. September I came in on the 6th. I ended the month with 29 points. Just to give you an idea of how many points it may take. It may be different this next year.
And we only played for 6 months out of the whole year, and we still made it.
Yeah. Yeah. So for me, it was 29 points, and then it was 32 points, and then it was 10 points, and then 8 points. And then I had a 0 in January, and we still made it. So that just kind of gives you an idea of what it is going to look like. Now, I imagine those numbers will probably be a little bit higher this next time, because I don't even know why they would be higher, but
I think they'll be higher because this is the first time Lynn said that the formula's been there, but they haven't focused this hard on teaching people this formula until now. Now everybody's learning it, and I think it's probably a little bit harder this time.
Yeah,
I
and
have a question.
Because they changed the qualifications on it too, so that now you don't have to go 5-star. You had to go 3.
Well, right, it's easier.
So yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so, and I know I've talked to you, Dana, about this before, but I'm still freaking confused. So, I know I need to get to executive like yesterday, but, which really sucks because I had a really good week 2 weeks ago. But I have a couple of people ready to go like tonight. And I'm wondering, would it behoove me to just put them under another person? They know each other.
So, Rachel, do you want me to share my thoughts on it?
Okay.
And then,
Yeah, please do, because I've been on Rachel's ass for like 2 days on this one.
I think I know your thoughts, Dana. You said that yes now, but not in the long run because you don't have the executive match.
right. You have to decide, Ashley, because here's what happens when you give away enrollments, and we all came from a company where we gave all of our people away, which was, so
I guess my thing is I don't know enough right now to decide for myself whether that's right or wrong, because I could have easily been an executive within my first few months of this business.
Yeah.
And I feel like I screwed myself that way because I had so many enrollments, but it wasn't strategic, and I'm not good at that.
Now, Ashley said that they know each other, but is the person you're going to give to the other person, is that person building a business? Or are you just?
No, we're all just friends. Like, we come from the same group of friends, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I wouldn't give somebody away. I mean, this is just my personal belief. Like, if you guys know each other, if y'all know each other, and their business building, and then you need to give that away because their business building and they're getting another one. I mean, that's a different story. But if you're
she is going to enroll her husband,
stacking two people, and that person is not building, I don't know. I just
okay. Let me give you
her husband.
Here's what will happen if you do. Here's what will happen if you don't. Okay, if you give them away, you'll get to executive. Right? If you give them away, you'll get to executive, you'll earn the trip, you'll be leader in action, you'll probably do pretty well in the pools early on because your benchmarks are low. Here's what you will lose out on if you do that. I'm giving you the so that we don't sit here and say, no, don't do that. You have to decide what's best for you. If you give them away, when you're an executive, every single week on your paycheck, you get a 10% match. So Ashley, let's say when you do 10 cycles in a week, because I sponsored you, I get one cycle because that's 10% added to my paycheck. I make $54 off of that. If you end up getting 4, 5, 6 people away and they're all doing 4, 5, 6, 10, 20 cycles, you are missing the match on that. The flip side of that is they are considered your 4 PET. So your 4 personally enrolled people, 4 personally enrolled team, you're actually going to earn money on them in the pools. So I don't think there's a bad way and a good way, a right way and a wrong way. Ideally, you want everybody to get their own 2 so that you don't give away sponsorship, because you're losing out on that match. But as long as you stay executive every single time and you're playing in these pools, then they're part of your 4 PET. You have to decide. That's the pro and the con of both of it.
Say if the person is not building a business, you can't guarantee that they're going to continue to run their auto ship anyway. And you know what I mean? And you're putting people under them to make them a consultant. That would be the only thing that I'm worried about. If that person's intention is to build a business and you need to give them one to complete a consultant, I have no problem with that if that's something that you want to do because of all the things that Dana just said. But just know who you're giving them to. That's all.
Ashley, didn't you just say, though, she had her husband that she was going to enroll? Did I hear you say that?
Yeah. She's actually been on auto ship 100 BV for the last, I think this is her 4th consecutive month.
Mm-hmm.
And she wants to I'm doing like a 30-day challenge thing. So she, from my post, she commented on it and I said, hey, yeah, why don't we get our husbands to do it together? And she was like, yes, my husband can do the 30-day. So then I have another friend who's friends with her. So I thought I could just.
That makes sense.
I think that makes sense.
I would do it.
I would too.
Yeah.
I would
do it.
It's all situational. You know what I mean?
It really is.
And that's a situation I would do it too.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah.
I have such a hard time with that. I feel like if I do one way, then that was the wrong way or whatever.
Yeah, you have to evaluate. In this company, you have to evaluate every single situation. If she's willing to enroll her husband and all you do is give her one more and she's been running an auto ship.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Is there anything else?
So I will I'll upload this into YouTube. I'll put this on. Are you guys able to keep up with the thread? Because I feel like everybody was a little bit lost. So I made it red because I know for me, I've got so many threads and messages that it's really.
That's what I was going to say. We have like
so I
10
put a
threads
little
going.
rocket ship in front of it, turned it red, And I thought, okay, well, maybe, between that and our Marco Polo thread, is this the easiest way for communication, you think, for this group? I hate to start another group.
I hate the thread. I mute every single thread.
It's so
As soon as I
hard.
get my phone.
If you guys are doing what I'm doing, I'm messaging, 50 people a day. I mean, it is so hard to find, because Donovan's got like 3 threads going, and I am telling you, I cannot keep up with any of those. So I just did.
Can we do a group just with this group? Can we do a group just with us so we can go back through and read the wall and it's not become? I mean, am I the only one that's feeling like? I love the Marco Polo because I can listen while I drive and not have to look at it.
Yeah.
But the thread, all of them, I have muted every single thread I'm in right now. It's just too much.
It is hard. Okay, so I'll start a group, and it'll just be us. And so
But then get rid of the thread.
Yes.
we'll get rid of the thread.
Yeah.
Yes. But make sure that you guys are really checking in and you're going to that group every day to stay on top of things. And I know, one-on-ones, make sure you schedule that with Donovan so he can really go through your personal. He'll dig in, he'll show you where your scores were. He'll talk to you about it. He's just I'm telling you, we are so blessed to have him. He's amazing.
I shouldn't do that though, right? Because I'm not even executive.
Mm-hmm. So I'll put his calendar link on our new group when I put it together, and that way you guys can click on there and you can set up your 15-minute appointment with him. So I would definitely highly suggest you guys doing that. And I'm going to be out of town all next week on a vacation. So you guys, you want me to still put it up there for Thursday night at this time, and you guys can use my Zoom.
Yeah, I have a question because Ashley just asked, should we still schedule an appointment with him even though we're not executive?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes.
Is that what you just asked, Ashley?
Yes, you're in the Top Achievers group. This is the Top Achievers group. And so he wanted us to hand pick a few, not a lot. That's why you don't see a lot of people on here. A few people that were dead serious about doing this and getting to executive and really running for Top Achievers. So absolutely, make sure that every single one of you scheduled at least a 15-minute with Donovan at least one time. And then, of course, he has, and then I'll transfer his stuff from his thread onto our group page as well so that it's all at a glance. Okay.
And, here's the thing for you, Ashley, and I don't know who else is not, close to Mitzi. Here's the thing. Obviously, my personal goal is to get in the top 1 to 30 leaders in action, right? But I would think that this formula overall is going to help you build your business. I would follow this formula like a T, but really, I think 3-star golden circle is absolutely achievable. And again, like I just did a training on speed, like speed really is it. And I think for Rachel and I know I can speak for you too, Rachel, on this because, the first 30 days that we came in, we got to executive, and then we played on that momentum to really nourish the team and build deeper so that we didn't just have 5 and 5. And so, because why do it in 30 days? Like if you made a goal to get to executive by the end of July and you use those 31 days to do it, your people are all qualified. They all have 100 BV. They all are doing exactly what they're qualified. So why not shoot for executive within that 30 days and then go back and beef it up at that point, right?
Yeah, 100% agree with that.
I believe you can all get to 3-star and maintain that 3 weeks if you're building it right. So there's plenty of time. I don't want, like Ash, I can tell, I read you because I know you well. I can tell that you're like, crap, this doesn't, whatever. It's looking like a big mountain. It's a big mountain, but it's going to be worth it. And it's absolutely doable. It's just speed, like get a babysitter, like do what you got to do to really stay focused just for a short amount of time. And then you can go through and really, you've got plenty of time to beef it up and come behind and make it a real solid.
At this point, you guys, everybody's been in long enough that we all have lots of customers, right? And so you can go back to every single person from day one, reach out to them, tell them about, this new slim down summer thing that we're doing right now, and ask them if they'd like to be a part of it. And just like you did with your friend that you're talking about with the husband, say, listen, we're getting our husbands involved on this. and we'll talk to your husband. Let's do it together. It's a couples thing. So already you have, one half of it all done.
Love
and
it.
then you can help them, find a friend, find another couple, and so I think that, by reaching back, because these people, some people came in, they were on products for a little while, they drifted away, but you know what? We've had a very big presence over the last year. So even if they have dropped off and they've been watching, they've been watching. So they're just waiting for us to come back around and grab them again.
Well, I like what Julia said too. When you go through and you look at the people that you've enrolled, you can go and see how many people now are underneath them. And then you can say, hey, did you know that you have 30 people underneath you? And of course they won't know that. But the point is that it's another reason to have a conversation with them. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of a little eye opener. And they're like, well, what do you mean I have 30 people underneath me? And then you just have, again, you've built that next bridge level of communicating a little bit more about how to earn money. And you just never know. You never know, because maybe somebody wasn't ready then, but they're ready now.
Exactly.
Or, you know what I mean?
Said that, I was like, oh, duh. I did that today. And I actually called one girl. She has 647 people under her. And she has one person on her right that's ordering an average of 150, and one person on her left that's ordering right at 100. And I'm like, if you just turn your auto shipment on, you'd be getting paid. So I loved that. Love that. That's what I've been doing. I've been going back to who I originally signed on and reconnecting with them.
I spoke to a girl yesterday and was able to tell her she had 332 people under her. And she's like, what? And so I snapshotted it. I pulled her right up in the tree, snapshotted it, texted it to her. And because, you wonder if they believe you or not, right? So she's like, oh my gosh. And so, she's highly contemplating, she's in another company. She's highly contemplating on moving over because things are not going as well as she would have liked it to.
Oh, interesting. Like false sense of momentum happening with the. Anyway.
Imagine that, like $10 starter kit.
Like a $9.99 sign up.
We're recording.
Hey, I'm gonna stop the recording real quick. Hold on real quick. I got something to say.